We know nothing about fighting. We know nothing about anything other than, there's a smoker fight in New York. You want to give it a go? And Frankie's like, hell yeah, let's do this. I want to say he's just a street fighter, man. He's just a wrestler that's a street fighter at the time with many rounds done in Seaside Heights beating up North Jersey kids. And that's what I tell people. Some people are born fighters. Frankie Edgar was born a fighter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So with that, remember a lot of things about that day. We drive into the Bronx and, it's not a pretty part of town at all. And you're like, Frankie's like, there it is. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, in there. And Frankie's like, yeah, I got this. He goes out there, and I want to say, like, that was the day that I, as a friend of Frankie Edgar's, could say he arrived. Because that day when he got hit in the face, you could see, and now that I know what I know, you watch guys get hit in the face, and you could see them question if this is what they want to do. There was no doubt in Frankie Edgar's face when he took that knee that this is what he wanted to do, and he wanted you to pay for that knee, and he was going to show you how he was going to do that.
So first of all, how many injuries would you say you have? Scars, broken bones?
Quite a, I mean, honestly, I've had surgeries. I've only had, I think, I had a groin surgery, I had 2 back surgeries, and I had a hip surgery. So 4, that's not bad, right? 4?
Scars.
Well, no, it's probably I've had over 100 stitches in my face. All my fingers and toes are all jammed up,
Tell the story.
Yeah, definitely been through it. I've been through it. Head traumas, I don't want to count those.
Let's not keep track of that. So just start out by saying, hi, my name is Frankie Edgar, and I've been a professional fighter for this many years. Okay?
Hi, my name is Frankie Edgar, and I've been a professional fighter for 17 years.
17 years. Now, we spoke before about your first fight, but before that, before Seaside, Boardwalk, before wrestling, is there a point in your life, even your childhood, wherever you ever felt like you were built different?
Right away. For real. And I think it comes from, my mother used to tell me I was the shit, I used to think I was the shit, and I didn't know it, And I think I definitely attribute that to my mom, always, hyping, gassing me up. And, I've been getting in stupid fights, little neighborhood fights forever. It's literally, I can remember at 5, 6 years old, this new kid moved in the neighborhood, and my cousin like, we gotta fight him, fun, no punches to the face stuff, body shots and stuff. But yeah, I remember thinking, it's like a movie, I had my cousin was cornering me, another kid in the neighborhood was cornering the other kid. It was like literally a fight in a movie, in the backyard, 2 6-year-olds, punching each other in the stomach. So yeah, I think I was destined for this, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that before, you're lucky, maybe you found that career.
Yeah, no, I think fighting probably saved my life,
And why do you love it?
I just love the competition of it. It doesn't feel like a job, and you get paid, right?
Yeah, especially being an athlete.
Yeah, I'm an athlete. I'm a professional athlete. Who the hell? Growing up, you're as a wrestler, there's no professional wrestlers, amateur professional wrestlers. So I never thought I'd be a professional athlete. Fighting wasn't, 93, I guess, was the first UFC, but it wasn't very, mainstream. It wasn't really a career option. Not that I thought, at least back then. So to say I'm a professional athlete is pretty cool.
So then you had that smoker in the Bronx, which introduced you to fighting, and you eventually got in the UFC. What did you envision for yourself when you first started fighting professionally? Because like you said, there really wasn't much.
Yeah, when I first started fighting professionally, I was working as a plumber, full time, and I was fighting just because I wanted to. Like I still wasn't thinking. That's why I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna get in a couple fights, see who I could do with it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even an option. Like I was in the union. I was going to school in the union too. Also after graduating college, kind of to get into the plumbing business. My father owned a plumbing company. So I was just fighting just because I wanted to, I still had that competitive drive from college, and I had some goals I didn't accomplish in college, so fighting kind of gave me that outlet, but it wasn't thinking like, okay, I'm going to eventually not be a plumber and fight. Until probably like probably a year in, then I started, flirting with that idea.
Okay. Yeah, because you were still working when you were in the UFC.
Yeah, I think I didn't stop full-time working until my third fight in UFC.
Okay. Now you've obviously had some epic fights throughout your career. What would you say was a fight that you grew the most from, personally?
I'll say 2 fights probably, but Sean Short fight, he was a former champion, and that was like the first, we really put a game plan for that one. Me and Mark, Mark really turned up there as much as we hooked up. The first Gray Maynard fight, we were hooking up on an occasional basis, and then after that Maynard fight, kind of realized, all right, we gotta turn this up, and we started hooking up real, a lot more. So that was like in 08 to and I fought Shirk in 09, so I made up such a big gap in that year, and I got to show in that fight, and that just gave me the confidence to say, okay, if I keep working at stuff, I can get good at anything.
Yeah, you kind of had to build a camp.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was built around you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, me, Mark, kind of figured this out, with Ricardo, and that kind of made us whole,
Yeah. Now, what fight would you say you had to dig the deepest?
I mean, it's kind of funny. I guess the Maynard fights, you have to say that, just because the way they went down. But I don't really remember them. People are like, well, it's not like I was like, oh, I'm really digging deep here. Yeah, I was on autopilot, and thankfully my autopilot is one that wants to win. That's it. So, but those fights, looking back, I mean, if you watch them, I'm like, yeah, I must have. I couldn't believe I was listening to, I hear Mark in the corner, and I'm doing what they're saying. So the fact that I was still I must have been coherent in the moment.
Well, it's amazing what that muscle memory does too.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. That's why you train how you fight. Everyone always says that. If you want to be able to get knocked down and back up, you better train hard as hell in that gym.
So where do you get that? I mean, you're known for your heart, I would say, and that grit. Where do you get that from?
I have no idea, honestly. It's just, I guess the pride I have in myself, and growing up watching Rocky movies. Seriously, I think, I love those moments, Rocky digs that, I dig back or dig deep and come back, from death's door, and then kind of live in it a little bit. It was pretty cool.
Was there ever a point in your career that you wanted to quit?
No.
Still
no. Yeah. Never.
That says a lot. I mean, training martial arts and fighting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm hard on myself. In sparring sessions, I'm hard on myself. And Mark doesn't make that easy because he's pretty critical of us as well, which is awesome, But I've left some training sessions where I was beaten and broken down mentally, physically obviously, but mentally more so. But never did it cross my mind, to quit.
I think that's why it's so hard for fighters to retire. Is just you're just so used to overcoming you don't know how to do anything different.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm sounding like it's like I'm too tough for my own good kind of thing, you know? And even like something the other day, I'm walking, and I feel like a stab in my foot, and I'm like, it's just I'll work it out and walk. And it was like 10 minutes. And finally, I looked down, there was something in my shoe. I'm like, there's something in my shoe, and I could have literally took that out and been fine,
Just ignoring it.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say was your toughest emotional obstacle to overcome?
I'm dealing with it right now. I guess the retirement thing is tough. But in my career, I would say the 3 title losses in a row, that was the toughest moment, because they were all razor thin fights, whether I won or not, or, I think I won or not. They were close fights, and I remember hearing that third decision, I was like, damn, how do I keep finding myself in these positions? And, I was doing everything right. I always do everything right. That's why I have no regrets. I never not prepared for a fight, or, didn't sleep right or eat right. I always did everything right. So, I can have no regrets. But when you do everything right and you still don't get the job done, that's when it's fucking tough.
How do you get yourself back up after that?
Just go back to the routine. Routine's getting up in the morning, go to the gym. Let's get back to the routine.
Well, you're one of those people that it's your lifestyle. It's not like you're in camp or out of camp.
Yeah, no, I love training. I love being in the gym. You know, now so even helping guys, stuff like that.
Now, do you think being a fighter is something that you can teach, or it's something that you're born with?
No, I think it's something you're born with. You got to be a fighter. But can you make someone a fighter? Can you make someone a better fighter?
Mm-hmm.
Given your ideologies, I think, you know, some of your, you know, your approach to how you train or approach how it's just everything. I think you could teach someone maybe to be a little bit of a better fighter, but I think you got to be a fighter at the heart of it.
Yeah, it's like those moments you have in fights where you see if someone's
right. And honestly, I'll be honest. I think all these guys are fighters in the UFC, really are.
Yeah.
And you know, every weekend someone's outdoing themselves, their performance, and like a heartful performance too. It's not like everybody's showing these fucking gritty, you know, heartful, you know, putting all on the line moments week in and week out. So I mean, that's pretty cool to see. And I don't know if every sport's like that, but ours is.
It's different, that's for sure. Now, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned, like from the business as a whole?
From the business of fighting is gotta worry about yourself, you know, as much as you can, you know, and keep good people around you. I think that's that thing. And luckily I had great people around me. I have the same people from day one. So I had to weed out some people to find those good people. And it was a learning process in the you know, in finding out who I could keep around me. But I think now I can use my knowledge to help some young guys to avoid some of those mistakes that I made.
Steve and I actually talked about that. How, I mean, Father Time is not kind in fighting, but you somehow miraculously maintained like a high level of competition for a very long time. And Steve and I were talking about how it has to be the people around you, the team you have.
Definitely, I you know, I would say, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a family, or raise a kid. It takes a village to raise a fighter.
Yeah.
You know? And really, I mean, it is. If we kind of, when you see how we have it set up here, we're not just, we're friends. You know, we kind of hang out in the off season or off season or off, you know, off gym hours. We care about each other, and as you know, we're not a big team. We're not a huge team. So you know, when one of us are out going for it, we all kind of have each other's back.
Mm-hmm. If we could go back to that first fight, what would you tell yourself, the young, beginning fighter Frankie?
In that fight, I should have been throwing elbows. I had no rules. I should have been going nuts on that guy. I only threw one headbutt. I should have done more.
So throughout all these years, what would you say has kept your fire burning?
You know, it's always the one just to win. It's always been my motive. But like, you know, I haven't won them all, and to me that doesn't change the type of person or the type of fighter I am. So it's still about to win, because that's always what feels good. That's like that week after winning a fight is probably the best week of your life, you know. And you're always striving for that, but it's not only about the win, you know, but everything else that goes with it too.
How does it make you feel to be looked at as a legend in the game?
I mean, you know, I don't know. Everyone throws that word around a lot, you know. And I mean, if someone said that about me, of course I'm flattered by it. But you know, I don't take it too seriously. I don't take myself too seriously. And there's gonna be a lot of fighters after me, you know.
What do you think makes a legend?
You know, someone that gives their all to something. You know, you have to have results. You know, staying power, consistency, and respect from others. You know.
Now, through everything, if you look back, what would you say is the theme of your career?
Persistence, perseverance. You know, I've you know, ups and downs my whole career. I made it to the title. I made it to 3 different title shots. You know, I've spanned 3 decades or something. So 15 years in the UFC, most time in the octagon. I mean, that's definitely, you know, there's a quote, I think Calvin Coolidge quote, I'm not even going to try to attempt to quote it, but it's about how perseverance, you know, is like one of the best traits to have, more than any of them. Because you're going to get, that's what life is. You just got to persevere through life. You're going to have ups, downs. You just got to keep it moving.
That's definitely something I know, or I've seen with you and some other fighters around you, that there's no secret. It's just that consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Just show up every day. You know, and it is show up every day. I always tell my kids, it's not, you know, my kids or even kids I train with, you got to show up every day, but the best guys are all showing up. So what are you doing while you're there? That matters. You can't just go in and punch your ticket. Oh, I'm here. That don't matter. You got to punch your ticket. What'd you do during that time? Because everybody's showing up now. You know?
Well, I think that's something you're known for too, is like your cardio.
Yeah.
Cardio is mental, you know. It's
it is
that
mental.
push.
It is mental. It's, you know, I'm shit. You don't think I'm tired? I'm tired. I'm just going. You know.
They talk about it like it's this talent.
A talent, a gift, right? You know, and some people, Mark, will say, "Oh, you, Corey, Chris, you guys, it's natural. You guys are just in great shape." I go, "Bro, we all work very, very hard." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For many years, you know.
I definitely noticed that there's a difference between some people they show up and they work hard, but they're not pushing that.
Yeah.
Because everyone doesn't want to get tired, you know. You're pushing past that. You're letting yourself get tired.
Yeah, they're not present. That's what it is. I feel like. Just because you're there, don't mean you got to be present while you're there.
Now, when all's said and done, what do you think you'll miss the most?
You know, I would say the camaraderie between the teammates, you know, all that stuff, but I don't, you know, I'm going to be involved in this in some way, shape, or form, so I don't think I'm going to be too far away from that. So then it'll be just the competition. So, you know, like, as much as fight camps suck because you have to be disciplined and this and that, but like, fight camps are the easiest times of my life because I have one thing to think about. It's that fight night. Tunnel vision and everything else. And you know, you have kids and stuff, so you have to obviously have some things, but really, you know, you put those, it's okay to be selfish in those moments. You know, it's like this is the time where I go make money and I you know, I got a goal and it's like easy. You get in shape, you look good, all that stuff. I think I'll miss that.
Well, I think I quoted you in that interview with Brett. That you like to suffer?
Yeah. I do like to suffer. You know, and yeah, I did. I mean, like I said, I'm not like suffering the sauna, and that's I kind of do that now. You know, or now I'm trying to do the cold plunge stuff. Like, I think maybe that's a little bit wrong. Our society doesn't suffer enough. You know,
it's too soft. Now, what would you say you'd want people to say about your career?
That I always fought to win. That's what I like when people say about me. Like, man, you know, I like you. It's like you could tell you really wanted it. You know, like you fought. It looked like I wanted it more than the other guy. That's all. That's what's all that. That's it right there.
One last question I asked Mark this, but was it all worth it? Everything, the ups and downs.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Juice worth the squeeze.
No, it was worth the squeeze. I mean, you know, as of right now, who knows what the future holds, but, you know, even though my competitive career is over, you know, I still got a lot of life to live and a lot of stuff to give, I guess, you know.
Everyone that loves fighting knows who you are and appreciates what you've done and given to the sport, so I'm glad you're able to share a little bit of your insight.
No, of course, you know, we love you, Jenny, and yeah, I'm always thankful to have people care about my career and, you know, stuff like that, so it's cool. You know, I had fun. This has been an amazing ride, and one more swan song.
And you won't be walking out, you'll be running out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, probably. I'm not gonna go help it. Who am I kidding? I said I may walk. Maybe I'll walk.
No,
I don't think. I'll try maybe, but I don't know.
But MSG, man, That's the way to do it. So, thank you.
You got it, Jenny. Pleasure.